Yo, what is up guys, Space here and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be going over the 112 Glacial and the Blaze, but just before I get into that, I just want to mention that this is not my account, this is a friend's account. He has kindly borrowed me the account to make these videos, as unfortunately I do not own every single vehicle in the game on my main account, or on my actual account, and because of that I'll need to refer to my friend's account that has a lot more premiums than me, as you can see. So yeah. Anyways, let's get straight into the bundle. If you haven't noticed, there are two tanks that have just arrived in the bundle, or in a bundle, and on their own. It is the Glacial and the WZ Blaze. Now, I'm going to start off and quickly say that I don't think you should get the Blaze. And I'll go over all the stats and stuff in just a second, very quickly, and then give you guys a live gameplay in the Glacial. However, if you are going to get any of these vehicles, it's going to definitely be the Glacial. And for the price, 5,500 gold is kind of competitive against other tier 8 premiums costing. Most tier 8 premium tanks cost around that price, and just like the T34 when it came out recently, and the Lover, that's going for the exact same price. However, I do think the Lover is still a better tank than the Glacial and the T34, so just keep that in mind. It is my opinion, but yeah, that is definitely the case in my opinion, that the T34 and the Lover are better vehicles. However, the Glacial is still a pretty good tank. 7,500 gold for both of these is not very a competitive price, as recently you were able to get 3 tier 8 premium tanks for 7,500 gold, which is the exact same price as this, and here you're getting a tier 7 and a tier 8. Now, let's discuss the tanks. The Glacial is a 400 alpha heavy tank, and because of that, it actually has a very good upper plate armor and a very good turret. So you cannot be penned on the upper plate and on the turret. As long as you're not versing a high penetrating vehicle that is face hugging you, you should be fine and dandy. However, the thing with the Blaze is that it's a tank destroyer that absolutely has no armor and has the exact same gun that is on the Glacial. Both these tanks have the exact same gun on them, and for that reason, I feel like the Blaze is kind of lacking, because the gun on the Glacial and on the Blaze is very, very inaccurate. And on a tank like the Blaze, it has no armor, so you want to snipe in it. It's a tank destroyer, obviously, but you cannot do that in the Blaze, unfortunately, because the gun is so inaccurate, you're not going to hit a truck from a mile away. And for that reason, I don't think the Blaze is a good option. It has not been buffed. Neither have these tanks have been buffed in the past 5 years since they came out. 5 or 4 years ago, they arrived, and yeah, they haven't been touched. So they are part of the old meta. But however, the Glacial is still a very strong tank, and I'll be giving you guys a gameplay on it in just a moment. Let's talk about the bundle and what you get out of it. You get ×5 boosters, which unfortunately only apply to the Glacial and the Blaze. You cannot use these on your tech tree vehicles, and that sucks, because you cannot grind free XP or XP on them. You can only grind free XP, which is a lot less slow, or a lot slower than that on grinding just crew XP, which is unfortunate. And yeah, there's nothing much you could say about it. This is the case with most of these bundles that come out. You cannot use these boosters on your tech tree vehicles. And yeah, basically, if you're going to get either of them, it's definitely the Glacial. I don't recommend you guys getting it in the bundle with both of them, as the Blaze is it's a horrendous tank. It's not great, and I don't think any of you are going to find it fun. If you do have the tank and you find it fun, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know, but the Glacial is definitely the better option. Now, equipment-wise, this is what I'm running. I'm running gun rammer, since the reload on this tank is absolutely awful. However, I actually want to try heat AP calibrated shells, I should say, for this game, and just because the pen, while it seems pretty good, it does lack sometimes, especially against the upper tier, and even against IS5s and IS3s, you actually find to struggle against penning them, which really sucks. Obviously, aiming time, because this is one of the most inaccurate guns on a tier 8 heavy tank, and for that reason, it sucks for its aiming time. 6 seconds is horrendous. And obviously dispersion, just to give it, refined gun, just to give it that extra bit of accuracy. I'm going for enhanced armor because it does have pretty good armor, and that 4% can help it just a bit. Engine accelerator, just to get that bit faster, and improved optics, obviously, because you're not a tank destroyer, you do not need camouflage net. Defense system, obviously, because you don't want to get ammo racked. Actually, speaking about it being ammo racked, the reason why I don't have a game from from right away because I made a replay on this before and I had to scrap that video since I got ammo-racked literally instantly off of the game. So I could not give you guys a replay where I get ammo-racked in the first 5 seconds. And yeah, so hopefully we don't get ammo-racked this game. Now, I must say the camouflage on this vehicle is fantastic. It looks beautiful. It does not have an extra camouflage, so you cannot put your own camouflage on these tanks, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure, I'm very certain on that. And the gun is quite stubby, I must say. It's a very short gun for the length of the vehicle. It looks somewhat like the general Chinese tanks. And 12.7 seconds is absolutely long, I must say. That is a very long reload for this type of tank. I am spotted, unfortunately, that Dracula went all the way there. And because of that, I'm not able to poke right away. And there we go. That's the reason why I wanted to poke, is because we can maybe get a shot into that VK. As you can see, the aiming time is awful, man. You need to sit and wait for your gun to aim in, and you need to sit there for a while, unfortunately. I find IS-3 and IS-5 to be a lot more accurate. There is a Lover. Get a pen into him. If you're going to run this tank, I definitely recommend the calibrated shells, as I probably wouldn't have been able to pen that Lover right there if I had not used calibrated shells. And yeah, because of that, definitely recommend calibrated shells. Because this tank also runs heat, you cannot shoot people through obstacles if you are going to run gun rammer. And if you find yourself not being able to pen, and then yeah, if that Lover, like he was behind that fence, I wouldn't have been able to pen him. I want to push up. Actually, you know what? Because this Action X is backing up, I don't want to actually push just yet. I am in a side scraping position because this tank is good at side scraping. If you use this tank, you definitely want to use it in a side scraping-esque meta. And yeah, definitely that's the strongest your tank is going to be, is in a side scraping position. Now, I have just noticed that that entire flank is gone. I noticed a bit too late, but we should be fine for the minute. I don't want their medium tanks to obviously flank me. Doesn't look like their team's doing anything just of yet. And for that reason, I want to push up just a little bit. I can maybe get under this. Oh, VK is pushing up, it seems like. Can get a shell into the side of his vehicle, then push down. As you can see, the alpha of 400 is not the greatest. You tanks at similar tier and heavy tanks at the similar tier, it's the same tier basically, have usually 420 alpha. So the 400 alpha is quite low, but it's obviously higher than a lot of the tier 7 vehicles you will come up against. Now, unfortunately, that VK kills our teammate there, and but we do manage to kill him, which is very nice. I'm hoping that I can get my gun down onto this Lover. Now, the one thing about the Glaze, it actually has the Glacial, I should say, it has more gun depression than most of its counterparts, like the IS-3 and the IS-5. I do believe so. You may have to let me know if I am wrong on that. And we are a 3 versus 4. I do realize that there is a Blaze on the enemy team. A very bad tank, but also a very hard-hitting gun if he does manage to hit his shell on me. I'm not sure where my teammates are. I do have a Somwa over here, and if I can take the shot for him, I will gladly do so. It's a 2 versus 4 now, which obviously means it's a loss. Unfortunately, there's nothing much we can really do about that. Now, the Somwa puts himself in a bad position, and because of that, we might actually lose him very quickly. As you can see, the Blaze does have the same alpha as me. Now, the Lover just has so much pen that it just makes it useless to go up against him, as he will be able to pen me no problem. There's an Object 27A, which is a fantastic vehicle as well. As you can see, the armor is very strong for a medium tank, and he goes down fairly quickly. And I want to get one more shot into him if I can, and I am going to die. As you can see, the maneuverability, the traverse speed on this tank is fantastic. I cannot complain about the traverse speed on this vehicle. It is great. Now, our engine breaks, which is very sad. We just get a final shot into that Blaze, and unfortunately we're going to lose this. And it's mainly because my team was very bad here. They didn't really do the right things. That object is going to kill me. And there we have it. That was definitely not the tank's fault. As you can see, the tank performed very well. I did about 3,300 damage, I would like to say. We'll just have to see really quickly. 3,286, just about 3,300. And if we have a look at the team, the second highest at 1,400. And yeah, that is very unfortunate. That was definitely a team's fault. and definitely not the Glacial's fault. But as you can see, the tank is a fantastic vehicle. It is very strong in a side scraping position, and even in a face hug position, you will bully most of the heavy tanks. And for that reason, I do recommend the Glacial for you guys to get. Like I showed you, the gun is not accurate in any means. You will have to aim it in most of the time, but that is mostly every tier 8 heavy tank, so I don't know what you would either expect. But for that alpha, you are going to have to aim. Definitely don't get the Blaze. It is not a fantastic vehicle, and its accuracy just is the worst of that tank. And if it was a bit more accurate, then I'd probably recommend it, but for most of you, I'd recommend the Glacial. It is newbie friendly and will work for most of you, as long as you take into consideration that this tank is not impenetrable. No tank is impenetrable. This tank can get penned, and against tier 9s, you're not going to have a great time. I must put that out there, as you do not have great pen. And the armor, while it is strong, it is mainly strong against tier 8s and tier 7s. Tier 10s, or tier 9s I should say, will absolutely butter through your upper plate and most of your armament. But anyways, there you have it, guys. If you didn't find yourself enjoying this video, then you can leave a like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, and it helps me out. And yeah, and I'll probably check you guys later in a new video. And for that reason, I'll see you guys later. Cheers.